Hi everyone, Sean Healy, change agent and relationship consultant here, and welcome to the Relationship Resourcing Series, a series designed to support people in their business relationships and their personal ones. So welcome to this episode entitled Couples in Business. I think that I'm in awe of people who kind of go through the process of saying, wow, modern relationships aren't hard enough to navigate. Let's put a business on top of it so that couples find themselves dealing with unfamiliar parameters of the day-to-day elements of their intimate romantic dynamic. And then at the same time, now we have to deal with the dynamics and challenges placed on us in business. Look, I think it's a fantastic aspirational space to aspire to, especially because the people we work with are the ones we normally spend more time with. So if we can make the space work where we can have a wonderful relationship with our partner and achieve a fantastic and create a fantastic business vision, then this is absolutely wonderful. And lots can go wrong, and especially because we're talking about a high stakes situation where not only can we lose the business, but we can also lose our relationship. So I thought I'd cover just a couple of elements. There's a lot to the complexity of couples in business, but I thought I'd just look at a few elements today that might help support you if you are such an individual who's making this journey with their partner, or this is something that you can share with your partner. So together you can kind of work on how we're managing these variables within our life and within our romantic and business contexts. So the thing that we want to kind of look at, the first thing is, I think for couples in business is prioritization, in the sense that worst case scenario, if we're agreeing before we start the business journey or as soon as possible, how would we know the business isn't working? Then probably for a lot of couples that I deal with, the bottom line is that worst case scenario is that we let go of the business if it's not working, but we are able to maintain our relationship, so that in effect we're not looking to create an experience where we're losing both, but rather our bottom line is our personal romantic relationship comes first, then there's the business, and then once we've agreed on those parameters, then we work like crazy to make sure that both areas live up to our desires. So there's a couple of ways or a couple of principles that I think really help couples in business to keep both areas of their life alive, because I've certainly met couples who in the end the business has taken over and the relationship has faltered or wilted or lost its momentum because the business now demands every element of our attention. We're constantly stressed about it, so we're not really communicating with each other, from anything but a wounded, stressed place. And that really takes its toll. And I've definitely been in a relationship with a partner. It's one of the reasons why I'm so passionate about this. I have been in businesses with partners in the past and seen how the business can consume everything. So we have to be so careful to make sure that we're creating space for the relationship. We're creating those moments to renew and connect with each other. And sometimes that might be only a half hour in a day, but we're not, from little things, big things grow. And it's from the consistency and quantity, as well as while we work on quality, that keep us going, keep us connected. So any time we can, where we're creating space specifically for the relationship and keeping business out of it, is going to be very, very vital. So we're looking at what we call contextual markers. These are ways in which you and your partner can tell what context you're in. So that what we mean by that is, one way to create contextual markers is perhaps you've got your work attire a uniform or a certain mode of dress that you associate with the business. And when either of you or both of you are dressed that way, what it says to both of you is we are in business mode now. And so we're employing business mode behaviors. We're communicating with each other in highly professional and business-like manner. We're not using little pet names like honey, baby, and all that kind of thing, or whatever nicknames we have for each other. We're communicating with each other by our first names, as if, we're addressing each other in the way that we would in the boardroom. You know, we're using first names rather than, you know, loving little nicknames which belong in the context of the relationship, not in business. And so we're using these kind of elements as ways to really differentiate for our brain and make it very clear for both of us what space we're in. And so business only gets discussed in business. You know, we're only talking about business in the office. We're only talking about business at certain times of the day. And when we go into our relationship or our personal time, again, we're using perhaps clothing as a marker. You know, once we put on our casual clothes, then this denotes we're into our couple time. So we're refraining from discussing business. If something comes up, we're jotting it down and we're setting a time for later to do that. If we're not talking about business in the bedroom, we're keeping those two things absolutely separate. Because it's the little things consistently over time that muddy the waters, that dilute the experience, and end up, you know, we're kind of bringing a sense of halfness to all of our context. You know, we're in our couple time, but you or I are thinking about business and we're not being present with each other. Or when we're in our business mode, we're thinking about our private time. And again, we're not bringing our best self to either environment. So that creating ways to really contextualize where we are. Again, that can be done geographically. When we have businesses that are based off a home office, then we're creating a space in the home that is only for business. So that again, when we go into that environment, and sometimes we need to be, it's almost overkill or over rigidity, but if that's what we need, that's what we need, which is, you know, we're dressing in professional attire to sit in the home office and do the book work, because that really helps to mark out to our brain, we are in business mode now, and we're setting aside certain times of the day where we're not getting distracted and suddenly looking around from the computer and going, oh, I think the house needs a vacuum. No, that's set aside for other times. And this way, it helps us to know more clearly where we are, but also our partner too, because sometimes the trouble starts when one of us is relaxing on the couch and is clearly in shutdown mode, and the other all of a sudden wants to discuss business. And we can really misfire when we have those moments where we're in two different states of communication. We've got two different intentions right now. One of us is about relaxation and the other is suddenly about business. So we need to make those accommodations. We need to have that awareness. And as we grow and know more about each other, then we've got that level of attunement that goes, I think now is not the time, or I think now we haven't spent enough time connecting and collecting each other, so let's go spend some couple time, you know, because yes, we want to create stability in our relationship, and if we can, part of how we achieve that is through building a business together. That is absolutely fantastic, but we also need to be creating space for mystery, for desire, for eroticism, and you know, play and novelty and excitement in the relationship. We need those things to keep the spark, to keep the freshness. And so it's the ability to navigate and balance the both going forward, and a collective intent from us both that we really are going to work hard to preserve both spaces. And some days, some things will get more time than others. That's just the nature of things. But as soon as we can, we're making sure we're taking the time to connect with each other. We're creating these kinds of markers through, you know, spatial location. If we work from home, that there's that designated area for work, or if we have a premise of business, then we take our business there. We're dressing for work, or we're dressing for our casual life, and we're keeping using those also to help really set clear parameters in our mind and set clear boundaries. And if we can do these things, these are small things, but if they're adhered to, they really help the smoothness of life. They really help the smoothness of our relationship with our partner, both in the business environment and in the personal. And I think it's a really powerful tool. So again, we're setting that intention that the relationship comes first. We're making sure that we're operating off clear parameters, that we really are making sure that we are, especially in business, we're communicating in a professional manner with each other. We're not diluting our intimate communication with our business communication, but rather, it's even more important that those two be kept separate, so that we don't have these moments where we're reacting to each other out of wounds and stress, or over responding in ways that we just wouldn't do if we were in a standard business where we weren't related to anybody or weren't in relationship with anybody. So those parameters of professionalism become even more important when we are in some way connected personally to the people we're doing business with. So I hope this episode has been helpful to you. It's one of the areas that I really find fascinating and really I love being able to support couples in growing in their relationship experience with each other and growing a business. That to me is really exciting to kind of be able to share in people's journey in that space. If you're interested in finding out more, go to emergencetraining.com.au. You're welcome to contact me there if there's questions regarding other episodes and ideas for episodes you'd like to see. More than happy to do it. I specialize in one-to-one work, both face-to-face and online, with working with individuals around their relationship issues, whatever environment that happens to be presenting in for you. And then also I offer public trainings and in-house ones for businesses too, all based around the whole idea of, how do we increase our relational intelligence? How do we have better quality relationships? Because the better quality relationships we have, the better quality life we're going to have. So thanks for watching this episode, and look forward to being with you on the next one. Till then, bye.